Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I'm going to review a smartphone. It's going to be different than my regular content. Basically, you know my channel, if you watch my earlier videos, I don't review too much of phones. But over the last 10 years, I reviewed a lot of phones for other channels. So when a couple of relatives just asked me they want to purchase a smartphone, they came to me and they told me their price. They told me $100–150 range in my country, Turkey. And basically they wanted something reliable. They wanted something with a decent battery life. And they wanted to be new, not second-handed. And they told me also they don't want Xiaomi, Realme, or any kind of like Chinese brands. That just puts a lot of things out of the equation. And they also told me that they don't want operators' custom phones either. So I just left myself wandering around a couple of minutes and I came up with this Samsung A04S. The reason behind it, this is a 6.5-inch smartphone and it has Samsung Exynos CPU inside. 8 nanometers and 5,000 milliamps of battery. Right now you're going to see the rest of the specs on the screen probably. This is a decent budget phone and it has to do some sort of things in a regular way. And I looked at the operating system. This is a new version of A04 model. This is an S, so it has Android 13. So it's going to be having the new operation system and 3 cameras at the back, and it has 50 megapixel of photo capabilities. This is not a 4K shooter. This is a full HD smartphone. It's not going to win any awards. It's not going to be extremely gamer focused phone, but what it does is it does, I think, in a decent way. So it has, I guess, screen resolution was 1600 something. That means it is less than Full HD, but more than 720p. Right in the sweet spot, I call it. Because if you don't have the extreme CPU and GPU combination, you have to have a lower resolution to keep it up. So this device is going to be capable to play games because of the lower resolutions. Just don't get me wrong, some of the Realme or Xiaomi models or some of the other smartphones in the market do similar stuff like mid-range of CPU, better CPU than this, but they add high level of screen. And when you add a high resolution of screen, you add a bulk heavy stuff, like you add weight to the phone's CPU's shoulders. So that's why the mid-range, bigger, better screen version smartphones most of the time just kind of like fails or performs less than they should. But people demands a couple of stuff. So for older people or general users, I don't think the higher resolution is the thing for the screen, because this is a small screen and we are used to watch full HD content on a big size. So it's not going to be probably a problem for a regular user. So without further ado, in this video, what I'm going to do, take a look at with you with the close-ups, what is the box content, what's the physical qualities and the styling of this smart phone, and then I'm going to shoot a couple of videos side by side with my Samsung S22 Ultra, which is, I guess, 7 or 8 times expensive than this phone, and in 2024 it's a still pretty good smartphone. I know it's not going to be ideal. This is a full HD smartphone. S22 Ultra is a 8K smartphone, but I'm going to shoot side by side full HD vertically so you can compare the picture quality side by side. Do you really need the highest phone? This is not going to win any awards from any of the settings probably, but we're going to take a look at what a budget phone can do. And I haven't even installed a Google account to this. I'm going to give it back to its owner. So this is going to be a short review on the technical side, but do I recommend it? I guess kind of I do, because if you have a low budget and restriction of brands, and if you want to stay on the road with the Samsung kind of like a known in brands like Nokia, Samsung, and a couple of others, you don't have too much of options if you don't want to give up the physical qualities and overall camera settings. But if you go on the other roads, there are other alternatives. I'm not saying this is the best, but this is the Samsung road that I had to take for the family members. So without further ado, let's take a look at Samsung A04S physical qualities, specs, and the details. In this section of the video, we are going to take a look at the Galaxy A04S box content. And as you can see, this is a simplified box, but it is a thick box, like 3-finger space. So this has adapter inside, not like my S22 Ultra, because that's weird, right? The cheaper phones has some sort of like advantage against the bigger and expensive phones. And what do we have? Fingerprint, triple camera, and Infinity V display. That is a good stuff. So as you can see, this looks good on the texture. And let me just get close. This is an interesting texture, by the way. As you can see, polycarbonate or something probably. The lenses looking kind of like oldish design, I might say, but this phone does feel like sitting in your hand quite a bit of good, kind of like a feeling of when you touch at the back, the iPhone 5C, I guess, the colored one, the yellow blue-ish plastic iPhone that never sold good enough, but the plastic quality or the material quality just feels kind of like good. What do we have at the bottom? The Type-C, and we have a proper earbud style hole. I think that's a good stuff, I guess. So on here, what do we have here? You got SIM slot, and I'm going to check back with does it have a card slot or not. So we're going to take a look what's deep inside of this box. So this is a user cover and warranty card. I'm going to take it away. What do we have? The power cable, Type-C power cable, the power adapter from Samsung, that's good. It says 15 watts of power. Yes, it is. 15 watts of charge. It can do 9 volts, 5 volts to 2 amps, 10 watts. So that's good stuff. So we got a remover pin, and that's it. This is a light box. So that's nothing abnormal when you take a look at this. The brightness level of this smartphone. Let's take a look. Right now it's in the half. I will open it up. Camera will adjust. This is an auto setting. I'm shooting HDR right now. But as you can see, this is a lit environment. And if I push it, as you can see, camera just dims down the rest. So I'm going to put it into the middle so it can match the ambient light. By the way, the ambient is extremely lit right now. This room has around 600-ish lux of power. So at the back, I have opened the GSM Arena that you can check the specs, and my laptop is open. Let me just get the laptop a little closer. So we got 6.5-inch screen, 720 to 1600 pixels of screen. That is good enough for this CPU power. And we got 50 megapixel camera and full HD video. Right now, the model that I have is not 3 gigabytes, it's 4 gigabytes, 64 gigabytes of storage. And let me just put the phone here while we are talking about, and I want to just increase the brightness just a little bit, make sure it looks better and cooler on the screen. So what do we have? This is a 2022 August model, so it's not a brand new phone, but we must expect the price. So we got nano SIM or dual standby. As you can see, we got plastic frame and glass on the front. There is nothing to be mentioned about Gorilla Glass, just the glass on the front. We got PLC LCD 90 Hz screen, which is not bad compared to 60 Hz, and 400 nits of peak power. That's a plus from my side. And 6.5-inch, it's a big size, just like a regular high-end phones. The Android 12, it's something that we need to have in 2024, at least 2023 to 24. Android 13, One UI Core 5, Exynos 850, 8 nanometers of CPU. So right now, everything looks perfectly clear. This is not a bad phone at all. So a Mali G52 GPU, it's also another plus from my side. And like I told you, this is a 64 to 64. And we got 50 megapixels of high-end camera, 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth camera. So we got portrait modes and it's working. I've tried it. But we're going to take a look at all these in upcoming sections of the video. It's going to be probably end of the video. LED flash, panorama, HDR and stuff. We got full HD resolution to 30p video, which is not great by today's standards. And selfie camera is 5 megapixels. It's not ideal. And 720p 30 fps video. It's not, again, the best, but we are not looking for any awards. If it's enough, it's enough. You're going to see all of these. We got A, B, G, N, A, AC Wi-Fi version, so we can connect. Let me just get it down. We can connect any kind of like Wi-Fi. Bluetooth 5.0, that's good. GLONASS, GPS, and every kind of like Galileo and QZZ. So we are not going to be probably Exynos 850 will not be a problematic CPU for rest of the things that we want to achieve. And we got USB Type-C 2.0, so it's not going to be fast file transferring, but it's a full HD and not extremely high-end focused stuff. So we got fingerprints, that's good, and side mounted on this power button. Sorry, the power supply. I'm reviewing a lot of PCs. Accelerometer, virtual proximity, sensitivity and stuff. And we got lithium polymer, 5000 milliamps of non-removable battery and 15 watts of wired charging. So in the rest, all I can tell you is Antutu score version 9 is 145,123. That's nothing extreme, but it can get away with that score because those benchmarks are taking a look at the resolution and the CPU's deliverance. But most of the important part they are missing, you have to play games. So this won't suck at any kind of like game because the resolution of the screen. It will perform quite decently. It's not going to be the best, but it's not going to be lacking extremely, okay? So it will handle, in a general use of sense, it will handle a lot of stuff. So the loudspeaker, it says around here, and the endurance time battery, it says 114 hours. I guess we finished it. So when we take a look at this, the edgeless design, we got a thick edge compared to the S20 or S22 kind of like new phones. And on the side, let's just roll it around the side. The angle performance are not going to be perfectly best. Okay, let me just open up the phone. It'll just decrease. This is a PLC screen, so it's not an OLED screen. It's not going to perform 100% around every angle, but it is just getting the job done. I can clearly say this is a good screen compared to the price range, of course. And for the rest, what do we have as a reflection? Like how much speed that we have. One thing is for sure, the couple of things I will remind you in this section of the video. First thing is first, when you hit the shutter button, okay, this is right now probably at the top of the settings. Let's take a look. Okay, picture quality. Isn't there HDR? Auto HDR is on. Location, settings. And what do we have? Okay, we got probably, yes, we got 4.3 and we got 50 megapixels. So if we shoot 50, okay, by the way, it shoots really 50. Look at the speed. Wait. Yep. And coming is also another waiting. But when you take a look at this, it gets the job done. This is really good camera, but you have to wait. So that's one of the things that if you're going to give up from the CPU specs, if you go a little lower on the budget, you're going to end up with waiting on the shutter. Take a look how late it is. Okay, it's not going to win awards, like I told you, but it will get the job done. Let's take a look at the close-up shots, okay? Here, I took a shot, and you're going to see a detailed video. Let's just push the limits a little bit. Okay, push the limits. Since this is a detailed camera review, but basically I'm going to focus on the camera because rest of it's just well known as specs. So, take a look. This is on the 50 megapixel right now. And I'm going to shoot a macro shot, okay? This is the focus that I can get as close as I can. So, okay, well, it's just, yep, it has come. So let's take a look. Yep, it's pretty good. Considering this is not a sunny day outside photo, And considering the price of the phone, the depth, the blur, and everything works perfectly. So you can clearly get away if you have a good light, but you have to wait for the 50 megapixel to work things out on the way. General use, I don't suggest the 50, just go regularly if you're going to share that stuff online. So getting close is also another thing. Can I catch the pixels like this? This is a macro shot. Okay, I can get close. And how much I can get close? Around 2 fingers of space, and I can get every pixels like in this shot. So you can clearly shoot macro. These 3 lenses are going to give you 2 of them are 2 megapixels, probably these 2, and this has the bigger sensor, probably that's the camera. But if I'm wrong, you can correct me anytime. We got a small flash. It's not a big one, but it will get the job done. So this will get you by far probably more than 80% of people's general use for social media. So do we really need to extreme phones? Yes, it's going to be lacking when you upload a lot of stuff, or it's not going to be fast using the GPS and taking it down, Android Auto when you're driving your car, and when you get back, when you online purchase stuff. If you do use these phones too much, you have to increase the price range from 100 to 125 to 150. You gotta go like $200 and above. And you might want to consider like Pocophone, Realme, Xiaomi, kind of like alternatives, but they are not going to be probably with the latest software. That's an important stuff. This is 2023 phone, and it's not 2024 phone, but still it has the Android 13 and the latest I/O interface from Samsung. So without further ado, at the end of the video, like I promised, I will shoot some videos side by side with the S22 Ultra, and you're going to take a look at it. Is it going to be enough for you or not? So let me know what you think at the comment section below, but in the end of the video, I'm just waiting for your comments. This is nearly the end. Like, I've literally finished. I am not going to show you anything extra in this short review, but if you want more smartphone reviews, if anyone sends me a smartphone or watch the review, I can review it because I've been reviewing for the last 10 years. It's not a difficult stuff for me, but it takes time, longer than this video. And really, normally, I should be adding a lot of benchmarks and gaming performances. But like I told you, this is a gift phone. It has to go. So without further ado, you're going to be seeing the video quality of this device, how it handles stuff against S22 Ultra. In this part of the video, we're going to shoot side by side, and I'm going to dive deep a little forward. And when I do, it's kind of like obvious to, if you get close, the dynamic range will be handled better with the S22, but since this is a good lit up screen, it's kind of like difficult to tell really on their phone screen. At least you're going to see a different result maybe. But let's go up a little bit. I'm moving slow because I'm holding phones side by side. This is a fast review. I don't have my full gear with me at home, but the dynamic range on the lamps are better with the S22 Ultra. That's an obvious fact. And kind of like this A04S losing it and getting it back. But also shutter effect becoming obvious with the S22 Ultra. It's trying too hard for HDR. Both of them shooting automatically right now. The A04 has, I guess, 2x kind of like visual, but S22 Ultra has a lot of, lenses. So this is the setup. If you know the channel by now, some of the movements, because of my hands, I'm moving slowly against the TV. You can see the color difference. I guess I like the A04S toning, but it's just showing a little bit of weird effect on the screen. Let's get close to the pixels and how they perform. I'm going to go back. I'm going to walk a bit inside of the room and see how much shake these things are getting rid of. And is it going to be easy for them? The colors of A04S is a little better. It's interesting, at least on their own screen, because It's not doing that much of an HDR sometimes, but both kind of like shaky in a way that can be usable. For my point of view, let's go something dark, very difficult for phone to handle. And interestingly, S22 Ultra makes detail pop up, but A04S tones better. So I chose probably, even though the sharpness is not good. You're going to see it on the big screen. That's another thing. Sorry about the mess at home, but still, this is how it is. So, let's go. Let's go change the cameras to the front cameras, okay? By the way, I can go front camera on the S22 Ultra while I shoot, but with the A04S, I can't. So we need to stop and continue. Even though this is a small test, I just want to add a low light setup. This is right now highlighted room, and you already seen it so far. I'm going to close the lights in the room. Yes, one by one. Right now the half of the light is gone. The second section, the TV section, and you know it by now. I'm going to do it by the elbow. And if I hit the right button, so this is the low light settings. S22 Ultra clearly creates high dynamic range much better than the A04S, which means the computational power and the sensor difference is huge. So if you're looking for a low light, of course, you gotta go high end. But if you are okay with the decent amount of light until the afternoon, then A04S might be the answer, because when you take a look at both of them, the winner is clear, obvious. I don't have to tell you anything. When you look at from straight, okay, let me just help you, because this is the extra gain. I will hit the control button and dim it down, okay? Since it is not fixed, again, I'm going to do similar stuff with S22 Ultra. And right now, when we look at the TV, I will adjust the light. As you can see, if I want to get the projector and the TV unit, I need to adjust S22 Ultra. That's how it is. If I adjust it up top to show you the projector and the rest, like the S22, definitely S22 Ultra, after even adjustment and gains, still performs getting the most color out of the TV's HDR settings. So the winner is obvious, but I just want you to see overall quality in the darkroom setup. Let's just walk back a little bit to give you idea as much as possible. Even the crystals and the rest of the room with the setup right now, A04S is pushed at the lightest that it can deliver, brightest. You see the difference of the seat, pillows and stuff. One is definitely the expensive one, and you know why it is expensive, definitely. So I just want you to see the difference at night. It's not a night camera. It never was. In this section, I'm shooting with the selfie cameras, and what is interesting about it, S22 Ultra cannot give a proper, at least shadow side. It's trying so hard to push the lower lights, like getting up the dark side of the visual. But one thing is obvious, A04S, even though it's not qualified, not detailed as the S22, it performs sharper, at least looks more realistic on the darker side of things. But S22, clearly on the screen, it looks like it's winning. Let me just go back, get the TV at my back, because it's going to be making things a little harder, backlit and also moving subject. And if I move it around, how much it loses or not. This is a home setup. I'm not saying this is the best test ever. I'm not walking and running. When I do move, and the worst HDR condition at my back, light and a TV, and I'm right beside, A04S makes like a lens flare. That's interesting. Let's just rotate. S22 does not. But still, it's up to you which one you prefer. I hope all these can give you some ideas. I think for the price, 8 times probably cheaper from S22 Ultra, A04S gets the job done a lot more than you think. Tell me what you think.